Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of 9 Minute Big Life Experience. So today I wanted to talk about this time I was on the Paul Henry show. Now, for people who don't know who Paul Henry was, he was a guy that had he had a couple of high-profile programs, but anyway, he was massively polarizing. You either really liked this guy or you absolutely hated him. Now, I was in the latter camp, so I really despised this dude. Anyway, one night I'm out in town, Friday night out for drinks at a bar called Chicago with Debbie, my wife, and two of our besties. And there's a production crew, and they're basically going around. They're looking for people who would sit on the show and do this game. Now, the game was called 9 and 10, where essentially Paul gives you 10 seconds to come up with 9 examples of something. And that something might be cars or board games or insects or whatever. Well, I'm up for a challenge, so I say, yep, I'll do this. And then not long afterwards, they put me in front of the camera and they mic me up and everything with the earpieces and stuff. And, I'm nervous, but I'm doing my best and probably failing to look really cool here. This is pre-COVID, so a big crowd has started to gather, including the bar owner. And, they can all see themselves on the monitor and stuff. And it's just the energy that comes with seeing that there's about to be a live television broadcast take place. So I end up speaking to Paul on camera, and then after a couple of niceties, we get down to business. As I'm listening through the earpiece, he says, "Okay, Eddie, give me 9 states in the USA. Go." Bang! I shoot out the gates. My mouth opens, and honestly, I have zero control of coming out. It's just spilling forth like a power chuck. Before the time reaches 0, he stops me and says, Eddie, stop. You've just won a $34,000 car." I'm in total shock as the crowd erupts, and the energy of the place is incredible. He and I share a few more words on air, but even now I struggle to remember what was said. I'm taken off air. The owner puts on a bar tab, actually gives me a bar tab for another one of his bars across town, and it's just general good times all around. Most people go back to their business, and I'm kind of absorbing that moment with our group when about 15 minutes later, one of the TV crew says that the producer in Auckland wants to speak to me on the phone. Sweet as, easy enough. It's a pretty surreal moment that is added, though, when she says to me that they've gone over the tape, and unfortunately, I'd only said 8 examples and not 9. At that stage, I'm completely dazed and confused, and I ask her, okay, well, what happens now? Because it's the first time that's ever happened, they'll need to work that out, and they've got to come back to me. And I let her know, honestly, it's not a problem. Take your time, and I'm sure it'll work out. My conviction then, and to this day, is that the car no longer mattered. I went into that situation with absolutely nothing, and I came out with this once-in-a-lifetime, mind-blowing experience where I was surrounded in other people's positivity, and no matter what, the whole thing had been amazing. I hang up the phone, I walk back to the group, and I let them know, and there's a flurry of questions for which I've got no answers anyway. But I find myself totally drained by that whole experience, and then not long after that, we head back to our home in the burbs. That weekend, because it's live TV, my phone is absolutely blowing up with people congratulating me, followed by every single opinion under the sun about what I should do, because I'd obviously told them actually they'd called back and taken the car off me. And I had every piece of advice, go and lawyer up, Citizens Advice Bureau, fair go, put it all on social media, the works. And before Sunday had arrived, I'd actually given up telling people my view, even though I maintained that, if a genuine mistake had been made, and by all accounts it had, then I wasn't actually interested in punishing them for financial gain. And I know a few of my friends struggled when I'd said that I wanted our kids to know, because we had 2 girls at the time, and I wanted them to both know that if someone makes a genuine mistake and they apologize, then be comfortable with leaving it at that. Anyway, Monday arrives, and the producer's been in touch with me a couple of times to talk it through. They're deeply apologetic and want to know if I'd like to go back on air. No chance. I'm worried that if I bomb out, people will wonder why this bum got given another chance. And I think that goes to show you actually the power we place in other people's judgments, even if we don't know them, which is just crazy. Anyhow, I finally agree to do it because I know I should take every opportunity in life. And I always thought that I'd hate to regale that story back to the girls about the time that I was too scared to take an opportunity. So they bring a camera crew around our family home and we set up for another round. And this time it's countries in Africa. Once again, my mouth opens and stuff just comes pouring out. When the time's up, and as in it's up really this time, I've only done 8 examples again. It's just not meant to be. Anyway, I'm actually relieved. Like I could feel all the weight come off my shoulders. But instead of just sending me on my way, Paul apologizes about the whole situation and offers to fly Debbie and I to Auckland to join him for dinner at this restaurant called the Sugar Club, or Sugar Club, where Peter Gordon will be cooking our meals. Now, I'm a culinary pleb, so I have no idea who he was back then, but he was actually a pretty big deal at the time. And Paul also lets me know that he'll be giving me an envelope, and in that envelope are 4 return tickets to Hawaii, accommodation in Waikiki, and spending money. And honestly, I'm blown away. I'm truly overwhelmed by that whole moment and that generosity. For us, we actually already had a car, so we didn't really need another one. And the thought of being able to go away on a family holiday was so much more appealing than the thought of having another car. So anyway, on that note, I'll stop it there and I'll leave what happened at the dinner, that experience, and maybe Hawaii for another episode. But I thought that this story was pretty cool to share because my big thing from that I want everyone to know is that whole experience was made sweeter by 2 things. One of them was that I put myself out there into situations that were out of my comfort zone. I thrive on being confident, but like I would suggest everybody, not everybody's confident in every single situation, even people who are confident in some situations. For me, being able to put myself out there, nervous as hell, and still just gain something from it was huge. So by putting myself out of that comfort zone, I benefited and I grew from them. Also, it was just being grateful for the experience meant that every single moment after the camera turned off the first time was an absolute bonus. I got to enjoy all of it without worrying about what I was owed or how I could turn that into a financial windfall. Last word. I do my absolute best to measure people on my assessment of them and, put my hand up that I'd got it wrong. Paul Henry actually turned out to be one of the nicest, most polite and engaging people I've ever met. And, I'm sure the skeptics or the cynics will say, well, that's just because of that situation. But, when you meet a person, sometimes you realize, oh my gosh, what I'm seeing on TV is actually disconnected from reality. All right, I'll stop it there. Thanks, folks. And I hope you're enjoying this podcast. So please don't forget to follow and share and look forward to catching up again soon. All right, bye for now.